5 MCU productions in danger of being cancelled. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much more. And after just coming out of an era of delays, pushbacks, halting, all from COVID, which put all production to an absolute stop across the board, we're back with some more bad news from Marvel that could potentially put a few projects on the back shelf or even permanently canceled. So we'll talk about what those projects are and possibly even more importantly, what could be causing these projects to be canceled. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our other major movie and television news happening daily here on the channel. You can also follow me on my other socials, Instagram at Chris M. Rosser and Twitter at TheCultureChris. Links to both of those are in the description down below. So, right before we get into this list, I know what the majority of you are probably thinking. It's not a big deal. A lot of those animated projects weren't really a concern of mine. I might not have even watched them. Because, truth be told, this list is kind of underwhelming. Just to jump into it, it's What If Season 3, Marvel Zombies, Spider-Man Sophomore Year, X-Men 97, and an unknown series that has yet to be announced. So they're well off into the future. But the real issue at hand here, the thing that we need to be paying attention to, is the fact that one of the most successful franchises, owned by one of the most successful companies, is having layoffs and cutbacks. I think it's time that we dive a little bit into the insane workload that Marvel is demanding, Disney is demanding, on these third-party animation companies, special effects creators, the CGI, everything that we see in Marvel movies has to be created. And you see a lot of comments, particularly maybe from Deadpool, about how expensive CGI really is to create. And that's because of the amount of man hours and precision and skill that really do go into it. Now, technology has changed a lot in the most recent years. In fact, a lot of people were in love with the first Avatar movie because of the CGI that was introduced. But if you think back to that movie, the Avatar movie, Transformers, for example, and even some of the earlier MCU movies, if we're looking at the current Phase 4 products, it doesn't necessarily feel like CGI has come a very long way. And that's because of the heavy workload that Marvel is putting on its creators. Due to this insane workload, we're getting unfinished trailers that are released, and although many times they've been touched up, there are certain scenes in shows like She-Hulk, WandaVision, and even in some of the movies like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness that have a little bit of a laggy effect to it, a very unfinished CGI. Now, this has nothing to do with the ability to create this flawless CGI. Transformers, like I just said, gorgeous CGI, and this was well before the creation of the Phase 4 projects. So, what's holding Marvel back? Simply how many projects are coming out. We went from a time where we got 2, maybe 3 movies in a year during phases 1, 2, and 3 to getting 4, maybe 5 movies in a year on top of 3, maybe 4 Disney Plus series, and then some shorts thrown in there. These new special projects like Werewolf by Night, I Am Groot, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, they all require the same level of CGI, of talent, of skill, of finesse, and creation, because these Disney Plus series we've seen are being judged by fans at the same level as the movies, which also have a very high requirement for success. Now, these movies are the biggest, and we are in the genre of the biggest television of all time, which obviously it's only going to get bigger as inflation makes the dollar less valuable and people have more availability around the world to movies. I understand that whole point of it, but movies coming from Marvel and from Disney are some of the biggest money generators in the world. So you would expect, or at least think you deserve, some flawless precision in your CGI, in your acting, in your creation, and in your animation. Fortunately, for most, not for all, what seems to be getting pushed back are these animated projects. And I think Marvel is taking a good look at itself in the mirror and saying we need to decide what really matters. Could they create all these projects? Yes. Would people watch them and love and or hate them? Absolutely. But do we need them? And it really boils down to that. Phase 4 was more than just a building stage, it was a testing stage. we started to test the waters of seasons. Disney Plus had launched. We have Disney Plus seasons with Marvel content that is going to connect to the main story of the MCU. Kevin Feige has said that from the beginning. Now these animated shows, like we saw with What If, also have the potential to connect since we have the multiverse. We even have rumors going around that Tom Holland's Spider-Man very well might be joining Across the Spider-Verse, which of course is an animation. It was one of Sony's more successful Spider-Man projects actually. So animation isn't the problem here, but it's the overall effect of what you get when you jump into the MCU. What If Season 3 is one of the ones that's been pushed back. What If Season 2 is already pretty much finished and we're just waiting on its official release date now. Marvel Zombies was one that was inspired by all of the excitement that came around the one What If episode that was the Marvel Zombies. And seeing all of that excitement, Disney does what it does as a company and followed that excitement to potentially have some success. Spider-Man's sophomore year is a very similar story. With all of the hype and just general excitement around Spider-Man, which has always been the case with the character, Disney thinks to themselves, here's a chance to ride out some hype and to ride out some excitement so that we can build a brand around a character. It's going to be following an animated story of Tom Holland going through Spider-Man freshman year and then eventually to sophomore year, and we would probably even be getting the origin story of Tom Holland since that was skipped on the big screen for the main purposes of the MCU. X-Men 97 was a imaginative remake of the old X-Men 97 series, and we keep getting the music teased throughout the MCU, so that's kind of fun, and this series will be one most people will miss. And then an unknown project and probably several other unknown projects also pushed back and or canceled, very probably and likely because Marvel needs to take its talent and focus it on its main story. So with many of the complaints that we heard as fans and that Disney heard from its fans during Phase 4 being surrounded by, wow, the CGI wasn't really good, this project felt rushed or missing something, I think it is important for Disney maybe to take a step back, expand a little bit the gap between projects releasing, cut back on a couple unnecessary projects so they can tell a clearer, more perfect story inside the MCU. Now don't get me wrong, I'd love to get more content, and I've enjoyed that they have sped up the process and the amount of content we're getting in a year, but I don't want it to become oversaturated to the point where it's not exciting when a new project comes out, because we're literally between days when one project releases after or before another. I like a little bit of waiting and gestation time so that we can actually enjoy the project that was given to us, appreciate it, and then move on to the next one. Not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Marvel projects in 1 year. Wow, that was awesome. What's next? I want to enjoy it just a little bit more. But yes, an alarming headline, but I wouldn't say something that's so scary or unexpected that you need to worry at all. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Which of these projects, if they are all to get canceled, would you be most sad to see go? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.